My dad and my grandpa both played guitar, mostly just at home. They weren't professional by any means, but my parents decided around 1960 to have me take some guitar lessons. So they got me into some group lessons with a guy by the name of Eldon Chamblin, who was Bob Will's guitar player for many years, and he's also a close friend of Leo Fender's. He taught tons of guitar players. I had a lot of my friends that took lessons from him at his house in Claremore. And he had a Strat that belonged that Fender had given him, and a couple of years ago somebody came up with it, and it was the serial number on it was 0060. And I heard not too long ago that Joe Bonamassa owns that guitar now. I started playing trumpet in the following year, and that became my main focus for quite a long time, and that's how I wound up getting my degree in music. Started on bass around 64 after the Beatles came out, and a friend badgered me into trying it, and I did, and I really liked it, so I decided to stick with that, and that became my main instrument for the rest of my life. Let's see, trumpet, trombone, euphonium, tuba, brass stuff, guitar, bass, violin, harmonica, but I really stink at woodwinds. Oh God, there have been a lot of them. I guess I'd have to say the Hager Twins show at the Old Flamingo up in Laughlin. We were hired. I was in Chuck Wagon on the Wheels when we were hired to be their backup band for a whole week of shows, and we went up there, and the company treated us very nice. Hilton owned the hotel at the time, and they furnished us rooms, gave us per diem. Our wives were allowed to stay with us, and we had enough money with the per diem to get lunches and stuff like that. And they actually did treat us very well. The hard part was with those two guys. We did 2 rehearsals a day, 2 shows a night, and those two guys argued constantly. They argued in rehearsal, they argued at shows, they would argue before they went on stage. I could hear them arguing off stage. And that got to be quite a strain after a while. By the time it was all over, we were pretty wiped out. They had, in one show, we had this big command performance where Baron Hilton and some of the other family, and Phil Harris and a couple of actors were in the audience. And Jim was the twin who played guitar and conducted the band, and he kicked off a song in the wrong key, and it just turned into complete chaos. Me and Neil and Jay were trying to figure out where he was. Ernie Mendoza was playing drums, and he was freaking out because he's not sure what was going on. And by the time those two figured out what's happened, we'd already been into at least half of first verse and in the wrong key. So they stopped the band and started into a comedy routine, kind of covering their butts. But the band was pretty embarrassed. And at one point, we were in the middle of rehearsal. I was starting to mess around a little bit, being a jerk, and I started throwing third part harmonies on the vocals. And after we took a break, and their manager came up to me and she asked me if I was the third voice she was hearing, and I kind of yeah, but I will stop. I know that's not really proper for me to do this. She goes, oh no, I want you to keep doing that because these clowns need all the help they can get. That's a direct quote. And this one took me a lot of thought. the two came to mind. First one was being able to play at the Troubadour in 1978. My partner Ronnie and I were in the band brought out there by Phil Seymour, who was a close friend, and he was a partner of Dwight Twilley's since they were kids. He and Dwight and Tom Petty were all part of this group at Shelter that were making their way into the big time. They worked together for a long time after they moved out to LA, but Phil had played with us for a while before he and Susan were moved out there. And then he brought us out there. We played about 4 nights. It was pretty nuts. We enjoyed playing the club. That was always a lot of fun, and we were able to keep the crowd moving. First night, after we were done with our set, this girl from RCA approached us and said, "You guys did a song that I think would be really cool. So come by RCA tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and we'll discuss it with some of my upper people." And so we did. Phil went with us, and the guy who was talking to us said, "Yeah, we're going to do a single, then then we're going to, we'll see where it goes from there." So we thought we had it made. We were just like, whoa, on cloud 9. A couple of nights later, the same girl comes in and she tells us, "Sorry guys, they decided they didn't want to put the money into it." And we go, "Well, then what happens now?" She says, "Oh, nothing." And that was it. And we were just like totally devastated. We did play out the next 2 nights, and then I just went home right after we got done. I took the first flight out back to Tulsa. It was a great experience playing, and it was a great experience learning what it was like in that scene in LA. We were just a bunch of punk okie kids, and we'd never seen anything like that in our lives. So I was grateful that I got the chance to be able to do something like that. The other one was with my advanced orchestra from last year. We were getting ready for a concert and a festival in Phoenix. And we put a lot of attention into one particular piece. It's called "Lullaby to the Moon" by a guy named Brian Balmages. And Brian is one of these composers that is very deeply emotional about his music. And we tried to live up to every nuance, every note in its place, in space and time. Just to quote Leon Russell, the performance at the concert, we decided to end our section of the concert with that piece. In fact, we ended the whole concert with that piece, and which is unusual because most slow pieces are put into the middle of a set. And I just was like, I almost brought to tears. I could see when we performed it, when we ended the song, I looked at one of my bass players, Victoria, who was just an awesome musician, and she had tears in her eyes. And I knew that was a performance that we could never equal, even at festival. It's such a moving piece, and it really, really set a tone for us. And but we did really well at the festival. But still, that performance sticks into my mind as probably one of the best. Easy. Linda Ronstadt. Saw her twice. First time was in Hawaii at one of the Diamond Head Creator Festivals in 1970 when I was in the Navy. And then the second time was around 74, and she was singing warm up for Neil Young in Oklahoma City. just dynamite, just a dynamite singer. Only got to meet her once, and that was when she was in Nogales when I was teaching down there. She was in town with the Tucson Symphony Orchestra, and she was narrating Peter the Wolf for them at the performance. And afterwards, a bunch of my students who were there asking to have their picture taken with her, and I asked her, and she was very gracious, and she said yes. So they gathered all around her and got their picture taken, which wound up in the Nogales paper a couple of days later. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. As a bass player, Jack Bruce, Harvey Brooks, and Carl Radle. Learned an awful lot from listening to all three of those guys. And they have different aspects that are very different in their styles, but I learned some really cool stuff by listening to all of them because they have their own way of doing things, and some of it really, really left an impression on me. I actually listen to news stations in the car. I play music all day long when I'm teaching, and I'm working around music at night and even at church, and I just, my ears need to take a break. I guess rap, especially gangster rap, because it really heavily portrays violence. It's kind of a cultural thing, that I understand. But I also think that it started morphing into other things, even into country music and some of the rock stuff. You'll hear little bits of rap, pieces of rap going on. So it's had an influence on a lot of different musical genres. Who the heck thinks I have any talent? First one, feeling, the groove, the chord structure. To me, that's paramount to being a good bass player. The second one, analytical, to understand how the music moves and what I have to do to make that happen. And then the third one is collaborative. What can I do to support my fellow musicians and what my fellow musicians want? That to me says it all. I don't want to go. First one, Disraeli Gears, Cream. Number 2, The Child is the Father to the Man, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That's their very first album with Al Cooper. Buffalo Springfield Again, Buffalo Springfield. Comes a Time, Neil Young. And Revolver, The Beatles. Okay, bonus question time, yay! Not much work right now, but when you get to that point, I always tell my kids, no matter what they do in life, you don't stop playing. You don't stop. You keep learning. You keep playing. It becomes apparent after a while that it's not about the money. It's really about the music. Well, since I sing all the time at gigs, and I actually sing at school to help kids learn parts, at church, I'm pretty sick of listening to myself, so I don't sing in the shower. Okay, Michael, I hope this works a little bit better. You guys take care. Thanks a bunch.